Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome to our first ever flight by request. This is something that I wanted to start doing a while back, but it's just a matter of having time, and this gives me an opportunity now to start changing things up a little bit, flying some different flights instead of trying to figure things out on my own. If you're interested in putting in a request for a flight, go over to the Mac Air forums, down where it says Captain Mac Videos, and in there I put a thread in there that is specifically for requesting flights. Today's request comes to us from Mac Air number 0114, Mr. Greg J. And he says, how about a Kmem to Kphx hauling those packages from that little FedEx company? The schedule we have is for an MD-11. Well, sir, this is your flight. So, Greg, Mac 0114, it just sounds weird saying it like that. We're just going to call you 114 or call you Greg. I don't know. Either one. Either way, this is going to be your flight, buddy. I actually had to reinstall my MD-11 because for some reason, if I don't fly it often, the registration validation with Pmdg drops out, and the only way to fix it is to uninstall it and reinstall it, which is an absolute royal pain in the can. Nonetheless, hold on, I'm just going to go quiet for a second here. That happens when I change screens, of course. Anyway, so we got her loaded up, got everything ready to rock and roll. I think I've got all the controls squared away. I am doing it a little bit different on this one, and I'm going to start doing this more and more with flights, even like for Life of a Virtual Cargo Pilot and so on, where if I have a tutorial out there for the aircraft that shows you how to bring it from a cold and dark state to powered up and all of that good stuff, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the video with the aircraft already powered up. So this aircraft already has power on it. Ground power is already hooked up. A lot of the work's already done. There's a couple reasons I want to do that. One, because I want to shorten the length of the videos just a little bit, and two, it's actually a little more realistic. So I've got some friends who fly in the real world. Plenty of you on here are airline pilots and cargo pilots and so on who fly in the real world. And the reality is with these large aircraft, you rarely hop in there with no power on the aircraft. So once we get a good tutorial out there, then we're definitely going to start going from this state right here. So you can see we're obviously parked here at Memphis. We'll be heading over to Phoenix today. We've already got power on the aircraft. I'm going to hop in here and show you that in just a second. Just taking a look at this Memphis scenery. It seems to be running pretty smooth right now. You can see that looks like it's supposed to be an MD-11 pulling in over there. I've got some AI traffic turned off. There is every likelihood that I will be, or turned on. There's every likelihood that I will be turning it off before this flight is complete, because you know AI traffic's just a pain in the butt anyway. But I wanted to get some aircraft moving around and stuff like that at our FedEx hub here, so that's what I did. That being said, we've got our cargo doors and stuff open. We'll be closing those here momentarily. Let's hop on the flight deck. And you can see here that all of our cockpit preparation work has been done, or the bulk of it anyway. I haven't done the FMC work yet because I want to give you guys an opportunity to see that, especially if we haven't done it in a little while. I'll probably mess it up because this aircraft's a little quirky with that. But we do have the power on the aircraft. The IRS alignment has already been taken care of. And basically, for the most part, our entire cockpit preparation is done. With the exception of setting up our FMC, getting our route into there and all that. So that's where we're going to start. So if you want to know how to get the aircraft to this state right here, powered on, we've got ground power on the aircraft, APU is not running or anything, it's just ground power. If you want to know how to get the aircraft to this state, there should be a little, either a little info sign up in the top right corner up over here somewhere, might be hidden behind a watermark there, or a little card or something popping up recommending that you go over and take a look at my Pmdg MD-11 full flight tutorial, because that tutorial takes you from cold and dark all the way through the entire flight back to cold and dark, and I think it did a pretty good job on it. I got little highlights popping up all over the place to show you where all the buttons and stuff are. I even went back and took a look at it because it's been so long since I've flown this aircraft. So take a look at the Pmdg MD-11 full flight tutorial if you want to know more about how to get the aircraft to this state. For our flight today, we're going to go from here and we're going to push forward. So we're going to jump right down here to our MCP, and we're going to start with getting our route in there. So we're flying today from Kmem, and if you've seen that tutorial, you'll know if you just put a company route in there, it doesn't pop it up for some reason, or it didn't for me anyway. So I'm going to go with what I did in the tutorial, put Kmem/Kphx, and when I put that in here, it should give me an option. There it is, Kmem to Kphx01, and those are what I want. So I'm going to insert that, okay, and that should put the whole flight plan in there. Alright, now whether or not it did, I don't really know. I guess we're going to find out here in a few minutes, right? Our flight number today, you know what, I'm not sure what our flight number is because I haven't done ACARS yet. So let's do ACARS real quick. Let me pop it up over here. If you've never seen ACARS start up, now you get to see ACARS start up. Who's excited about that? Nobody. My wife's laughing at me. Log it in there, and then we'll jump over here to our current bids. Wait for this to refresh. Takes just a minute. You'll see I've got plenty of flights in there that I've bid on. There's our MD-11 flight, though. We're going to highlight that one. Fly bid. Schedule found. Okay. Jump back over here. We are going to be flying ultimately at 38,000 feet. So let's set that up. 38,000 feet. It is going to be an MD-11, so we're good on that. We'll just crank the cargo up so we make more money, right? See how high it goes. Somebody's trying to come through. One of my filthy little rat children is trying to come through the door right now. I don't remember how much cargo we have. Probably not this much, actually. Anyway, that's good. Good on cargo. And what else do we need here? Oh, I wanted to get the flight number. It's 89095. Let's go ahead and start flight. Bam. Flight's starting up there. We're good to go on that. So 89095 is our flight number, right? Yep, right there. 89095. Okay. So 89095. That didn't even come close to working, did it? 89095. There we go. Flight number. What is our alternate? Flight plan alternate is... I know it's staring me in the face. Alternate planning, KSDL. Put that over there in case we need it again. KSDL. There we go. Alternate airport. Return to flight plan. I don't know why that little page pops up. We're going to start out at flight level 360, and then we're going to step climb to 380. So we'll put both of those in there, and our cost index, as always, is going to be 85. Fantastic. Next page. Okay. We need to get our fuel from this guy, your load manager. You get our block fuel is 85.5. You can just click on that. It's going to put it in there for you. That is the fuel we loaded, and that actually that did everything for us. I don't have to do anything. It did it all for us. So takeoff center of gravity was 20.3. So all the information that's on here, takeoff center of gravity, takeoff gross weight, zero fuel weight, center of gravity, all that information just went in as soon as I did the block fuel. So that was nice. So let's see. We don't need that guy. We can close that guy out now, I think. Yeah, let's close that one out. So we're good on that. And then the last page is just fuel planning information. We're good on this. We don't need to do anything from here. So that takes us to flight plan. And you can see it's got Kmem to ducks, and then club, and then TCC and Zune, and then top of descent. And there's no way that's the flight plan I have here. It's not even close, to be honest with you. Which means that flight plan wasn't in the right spot. That's what it means. So this was an old one. You know what? We can use it. I mean, it'll work. It's still a viable route, right? So click on Kmem, click on SID, and we are using the Elvis 4, which doesn't even show up on here, does it? Well, maybe it's further down. There it is, Elvis 4. And we're going to take runway 27. There it is. And now you see all of these guys right here. When you see our departure briefing, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So this actually means East 4, East 1, East 3, East 2. That's what all of these are. And the departure on this, we're going to be taking the, the Elvis 4 departure, duh. So on the Elvis 4 departure, basically all of these are radials off of the Memphis VOR to a waypoint. And each of those waypoints is named as such. Well, we're headed westbound. And it seems to me that most likely we should go to the West 4 based on the runway we're using. So let's look for West 4. South. There we go, West 4. That's where I want to transition off of there. Insert all those into the flight plan. And then you've got your discontinuity from there to ducks. And it's top of climb, step climb, top of climb, club, TCC, Zune, and then I doubt we're going to be taking the Bunner 3 into Phoenix. Let me just look at what we're taking in there real quick. No, it's the Eagle 6 into Phoenix. So click on Phoenix, click on Star, and look for Eagle 6. Eagle 6. We don't know which runway we're taking yet, though, so I guess we can't put it in yet. We'll have to wait until we get some weather on that. So that's fine. So we're good there. The only issue we have right now is that there's this discontinuity between West 4 and Ducks. Now, when I pop up my flight plan over here, we're supposed to go MEM, but we're not doing that because it's actually on the airport. That doesn't make any sense. And then it's IRW. So let's put in IRW. Insert that waypoint into here. And let me get the lat long for that. IRW is... Where's my lat long on this thing? Oh, there we go. North 35 West 09. So it's this guy right here. And now we'll just clear out. We'll just hit clear the flight plan discontinuity. Then we'll look at our plan mode real quick and see where that takes us. So I think we're probably good to go on that, though. Page 2. That's just the winds page. So it's going to step climb pretty quick. But I think that's good. We're going to go on that. Get back up there. Okay. So we're going to go on all that. Looks like our FMC's set up, at least as far as that goes. Let's go to our performance now. I haven't done this in a long time, guys, so bear with me, all right? Next page. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. What am I looking for here? Initialization? Nope, we did initialization. I need to get to my takeoff page, right, so that we can do our V speeds and all that good stuff. And for some reason, I thought that was under performance, but I guess not. So I have to figure that out real quick because I don't want to be completely lost, especially when I'm recording a video. I've got a child trying to bang their way through the door anyway, so I'll be right back. Alright, nobody's banging through the door anymore. I took a quick look, and now I remember how to do at least a little bit more of this. We need to go to our takeoff approach page here, and this is where we set stuff up for our V speed. So our flaps, we're not real heavy. We're going to go with flaps 22, just like we did in the tutorial. The slope and wind, so we're going to have quite a crosswind on this, but it's not going to be a very strong wind. It's only at 10 knots. So we're going to put in the slope as 0 because it's FSX. There's no slope, right? And then the wind, we're just going to put at 5 knots. And that's going to go in there. And then the outside temperature is 13 degrees Celsius. You have to make sure you put the C in there. Otherwise, it doesn't work. As soon as we do that, then we get our V1, rotate, and V2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to check those off. And now we have our V speeds in there, and we're going to go on that. And that actually takes care of our FMC setup. Now, of course, all our doors are still open and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and take care of that real quick. Cargo doors, we need to close those. Okay, and all those doors should be closing. There they go. It takes a second to load in because it's FSX and it sucks. Fantastic. Alright, so doors closed. What do we got next? IRS is already taken care of. Auto brake needs to be set to takeoff mode. And we're going to have to fly around a little bit for some of this, right? So auto brake is up here. That's this guy, takeoff mode. Just give it a left click and that puts it in takeoff mode and we're fine on that. And that actually takes us into our before start checklist. Alright, so again, all the previous work was done. Now, I don't actually agree with that. Probably because I'm missing stuff because I got all the power up stuff done, but I didn't do everything else. For example, our altitudes. We're going to be starting out at flight level 360, right? So we need to turn this up to 360. I don't know why it goes in 500 foot increments. And then 156 is our V2, so let's set our V2 speed on here. 156. And then the heading for our departure is, let me find it here real quick. It's 273 degrees. Maybe. Come on. Let me change it. There we go. 273 is what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's good to go. Flight directors are already on, so we're good on those. We got our V speeds in there. And so that now we can go in, we can look at our before start checklist. Now we're going to push back, and when you get your taxi brief, it's going to be as simple as it gets because we're going to push back and we're going to go over here, across there, and we're going to go right there because that's where we're holding short is right here. So they did an awesome job, by the way, with this Memphis scenery. I really like it. It looks fantastic. So anyway, doors and windows need to be closed and locked. That's all taken care of. Parking brake as required. Right now we've got it on, so it's good to go there. Beacon needs to come on. We'll hop up top here, take care of the beacon. Nope, beacon's on now. So these ones show when they're off. Logo lights, that would be on, that's off. High intensity, that's off. Now they're on. These ones only show a light when they're on. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know, it's just funky to me. We do need to start the APU though. We haven't done that yet, right? So we're still on ground power. Let's start the APU. If you haven't watched the tutorial, you definitely want to watch it on starting the APU and how that works. So the APU is firing up right now. We've got that information down here. Let's let that do its thing. And I'm going to come back when it's up and running because there's really nothing else for us to do at the moment. And I don't think you want me to just have a bunch of empty space in here. I will take, you know what? Forget that. Different plan. Okay, while it's starting up, quick question for you. Let's just go ahead and ask right now. What do you guys think about starting a flight like this with power already on the aircraft? A lot of checklist items already taken care of. If you've seen the tutorial on this MD-11, it's a very long process. The tutorial is like over 2 hours long. Okay, it is a long process. There's a lot of different things to do. And I even looking now while I'm talking, I've seen that I've missed a couple things. Like I haven't set the barometer yet, right? I gotta set. You gotta set your altimeter, right? So and I don't even know what it is. I gotta look at the weather. But the point is, okay, it's easy to miss stuff if you're not careful. Number one, but number two, and more importantly, is what do you guys think of this? Because we're going to be off the ground here much quicker than we normally are. I mean, I still talk a lot, so it's still going to take forever, but we're going to be off the ground a lot faster than we normally are. But there's a lot of stuff that came before this that you guys missed. And so I'm just curious what your thoughts are, whether or not you know, you like this method or you would prefer to go from cold and dark every time or what. Totally up to you. Let me know down in the comments. Greatest number of votes wins, basically. So the APU's up and running at this point, so we want to make sure that we have our APU bleed on. Okay, that's this guy here. Psh, bam. And this is the air panel, right? So that's the APU bleed there. And we can turn, this is on and running, so we can turn external power off. Both of those off. And then they're showing on because the way I set it up on here is they're both by request, right? So I need to disconnect them both now. Okay, so those are both disconnected. Now we can take this guy to the FMC as well and put it on our progress page. That's where I'm going to start it out at. Okay, so we're almost ready to push back. Let me pull up the weather over here. Bit of a mess going on here, aren't I? It shows the pressure is 29902 actually. So I guess it's right. All right, crazy. How often is the pressure actually 29902? Okay, so we got everything ready to go. I'm sorry, we don't have everything ready to go. Let's get back into our before start checklist here. So doors and windows, we already took care of that. Parking brake's good. Beacon's good. Engine ignition needs to be A or B, and that's this guy right here. We're gonna go. This little off light's gonna go off as soon as I click on A. It says off, and we're good there. Fuel panel auto or manual set, right? So fuel panel, this is the button here that switches between auto and manual. If I click on it, it shows manual. I don't want that. I want it auto. I want the fuel to do its own thing. So click on it again, puts it back on auto. Those will go away in a second. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Same thing with the air panel, auto, or if it's manual, then you want to set it, right? So we're going to leave that on auto as well. And that takes us into our startup procedure, right? So hop back down here. Let's go ahead and get this pushback going. Let's see. It's got a pushback feature. Let's see if the pushback feature works the way we want it to on this one, okay? I've had nothing but problems with pushback features for those of you who are unaware. So pushback. Okay, straight length. I want as short as possible because we don't have any room here. Like no room. See, it won't even let me go that short, right? I think the shortest it lets you go is 30 or maybe even 35. Okay, 30. Turn the nose. I want the nose to go to the left. Okay, I want the nose to go to the left 90 degrees. Okay, you guys see that, right? Turn nose left 90 degrees. Okay, so I want the nose pointed over there, right? Let's see if it works.
And ground cockpit.
I don't know if you can hear him or not.
We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Release parking brake, please.
Oop. Okay, do it this way.
Okay, parking brake is off.
There we go.
Push.
Brakes off, here we go.
Okay, we're pushing. Remember, the order to start is 312. Right click on the little button over here. Okay, should start spooling up if I did everything right, which it looks like I did. Okay, so we're waiting to get to 15, which is the blue line here. When we get to 15 on the N2, then we go ahead and introduce fuel. There's 15. We'll left click on the fuel and that introduces it. Those guys are from the scenery, by the way. That's not GSX or anything. That's all just the scenery. Pretty cool. Seems we might have done all right on our... Like, he's just gonna drive right through. He don't care. He's like, whatever, do what I want. Maniac. All right, looks like the engine's just about stabilized here. So let's go ahead and do engine number 1 now. Right click. Waiting for 15 on the N2. Looks like he bypassed our line there. That's alright, we'll just let him finish it up. There's 15, introduce fuel. Easy enough. So far so good. That's 90 degrees. At least he turned in the right direction this time. I mean, he put us in the wrong spot.
Push is complete. Set parking brake, please.
Yeah, this thing does not like to...
Alright,
There we
brakes
go.
are set and pressure's normal.
It's kind of hard to find the click spot on that.
Okay, sir, tow bar is on, pin is out, watch for the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will be watching for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that, have a good flight.
I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but... Okay, should be stabilized on engine number 1 now, so let's start engine 2. Same thing, waiting for 15 on the N2. I'm sure, because I don't normally do it this way, I'm sure I missed a dozen things. Don't beat me up too bad in the comments for it, guys. Go easy on me now. I haven't flown the MD-11 in a while. And as we're starting to come up there on engine number 2, let's start taking a look at our after start procedure. Engine anti-ice in general is as required. I think we're just going to leave it all off. So, or it's all on auto, I think is actually what it is. So we're going to leave that as is. Air panel, we're going to leave it on auto. We're not going to mess with it. But if you want to set it to manual, you can set the turn the isolation valves off, packs on, bleeds on, all that. We're leaving it on auto. I'm not messing with it. You see packs 1 and 2 are on. Or pack 1 and 3 is on. Pack 2 will go on here in a minute because it's on auto. APU needs to go off. Excuse me. I'm just waiting. Once pack 2 goes on, then I know that the engine's doing its thing. So we'll be good to go on that. Maybe we could probably turn the APU off already. In fact, I'm sure we can. I don't know what's taking so long. Okay, let's go ahead and just turn it off up here. Actually, no, you don't do that when you do this one. There we go. Off. There we go. Right as pack 2 is coming on, right? Okay, so the APU should be spinning down now, and we've got that. It's still showing it full up on here though for some reason. Maybe I'm missing something here. Am I missing something? It still says available. APU generator. System. Oh, it wants you to put system on manual. APU power. No, it's just telling me it's available, but it's off. So if it's off, why is it still showing on down here? That's kind of weird. I never noticed that before. Because it should definitely be off at this point, right? Oh, for crying out loud. Start, stop, off. Yeah, I think it's good to go. Give me a break here. It's always something. It's always something. Okay, I think it's off. I don't know why it's not showing that it's winding down over here, but I think we're good to go other than the fact that vehicles apparently are driving directly through us. So let's move on. Hydraulic panel, we're leaving on auto. Ground equipment, gear pins, all that's removed. Parking brake is currently set. Cabin report's been received, and that takes us into our taxi checklist. First thing on our taxi checklist is to take care of the flaps. When you move the aircraft, that position changes every time. It's the saved position of the whatchamacallit. So we're going to the dial a flap here, right? So, and my thing's really fickle. Alright, so there's the dial a flap, and we've got it set at 15 right now. And we want to go the other way, right? Yep. We want to go to 22. Okay, so you put it on the dial of flap and put that at 22, and that puts our flaps at 22. I don't really know how it works, but there you go. Arm the spoilers, which for me is shift and tab. Now they're armed. Flight controls need to be checked. Now, I don't recall if I ever found where the little pop-up display was for the flight controls. I know that my flight controls are working. Full left, full right, all the way up, all the way down. They're actually a little sensitive, if you ask me. And then if I get my feet on the rudder pedals here, all the way left, all the way right, and center. But I think there's supposed to be something that pops up on here, and I can't find it for some reason because, you know, don't mind me, I'm lost. But it is what it is. Flight control should be good. Stab trim should be set. That's this guy right here. And you want it in the green. Excuse me, there's a Kphx cough for you. You don't get as many of those lately, do you? My allergies are starting to act up again, though, so you should start getting a lot more of them. So I just sort of put it right in the middle of the green, because that seems to make the most sense to me, right? So let's go with 7.7. I like that. That works well. And then confirm that takeoff data is set. It is. That's our V speeds in there. We got the V speeds up here. And then that'll take us to our before takeoff checklist, which of course we're not going to be doing until we get over by the runway. So I'm going to break away for a minute because I still got to put my track IR on and all that good stuff. You guys know how I am. And then we'll come back on here. We'll take care of our taxi and departure briefing while we make our short little run over there. Alright, we got the track IR up and running. Everything's taken care of other than vehicles continuing to drive through our airplane, because that just makes perfect sense. Let's go ahead and put our taxi light on here. One click on that guy and we are ready to rock and roll. Now, I have noticed that the parking brake doesn't come off. Well, never mind, I lied. It comes off when I hit my toe brakes. Track IR coming on, little jump here. And away we go. Alright. Start rolling this bad boy forward, and let's go ahead and take care of your ridiculously short taxi brief, and then of course your departure briefing. Alright, let's take a look at this taxi and departure briefing. Taxi is about as easy as it gets. I don't know why this chart is turned in this direction. It really should be turned the other way. I didn't turn it. I don't know, let's turn it the other way. There we go. Alright, so we are right here, and we are going right here. That's as simple as it gets, folks. We are literally just going to go whoop right over here and hold short runway 27 left. We do have a little bit of information on here we could use for our ridiculously short taxi. ATIS is on 127.75, and Memphis clearance on clearance. Okay, let's try that again. Memphis clearance on 125.2. And then for runway 9 and 27, ground controls on 121.0. And I think that's about all we really need at this point. Let's take a look at the departure briefing, which is going to look a little crazy. I wasn't kidding, was I? There's actually, so there's tons and tons and tons of information on here, but the reality is, for us, it's actually quite simple. So we're actually going to be taking the Western 4, or West 4, for this departure. So on the Memphis 4 departure, West 4 is one of the waypoints, right? And so all of them are based off of the Memphis VOR. And really all it comes down to is West 4 for us is off the 303-degree radial from the Memphis VOR. All of the rest of this information is it's just information, right? So we come up here for departure control frequencies, C graphic. Okay, we'll take care of that in a little bit. Airport elevation is 341 feet. Transition level is flight level 180. Then you've got all of this information in here. None of them apply to West 4, so we're not worried about any of those. We do have speed restrictions, 250 knots. Let's see, it actually says for turbojet aircraft accelerate to 250 knots immediately until reaching 10,000 feet if unable advise ATC, so that's pretty important. We've got obstacle information over here for runway 27. We got some trees at the other end of the runway, but they're probably not there, and I don't think they're going to be an issue for us. All right. Departure control for us on this side is 124.65. That's what it meant by see the graphic. Okay. Coming down here, none of this actually applies to our runway. I don't think runway's standard or lower. This is just talking about minimums. We're not going to have an issue with any of those. Coming down here to initial climb, runway 27, all aircraft climb heading 273, or as assigned by ATC, top altitude 5,000 feet. No issues there. We got that in the graphic here as well, 273, and then over here you get the name of all the fixes and how to pronounce them. So ours is W4. You come down here, it says, excuse me, there's a hiccup there, West 4. Simple as that. So it looks crazy, but it's actually not that hard once you sit there and go through it. And then you've got some, the hiccups, for crying out loud. They've got some routing information down here. But that pretty much sums it up. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple on our departure. Alright, now that we got our briefings taken care of, at some point while I was taxiing out here, a couple of weird things happened. One, I got a notification saying that my zero fuel weight center of gravity and stuff hadn't been set, and it deleted my V speeds. And then now they're back in there, so I don't really know what happened. But I also went over like some really big bumps or something, so I don't know if that was a scenery thing or if like cargo's falling out of the airplane or what. But it was a little weird, so hopefully we don't have any major issues when we get ready to take off here. That being said, let's take care of our before takeoff checklist. Let's see, high intensity and landing lights need to come on. Oh, you can't see. There's the high intensity. Oh, those were already on. Left and right runway turn off, that goes to landing lights. Those go, let's see, that's, is it backwards? No, extended on. Yeah, all the way down is on. It's hard to tell with those lights, isn't it? Hydraulic panel stays on auto, air panel stays on auto, and weather radar and transponder on is required. Transponder's already on, we're good on that. We're not going to do anything with the weather radar, so that means we're ready to go. Track hour coming on a little jump here. Big jump, actually. Boy, that's like, it's got me sitting way back now, doesn't it? Okay, let me... Wow, that's like, woo. There we go, that should be a little better. You gotta reset that track IR sometimes. Okay, let's get that brake off. There it goes. Get a little thrust going, get her out on the runway here. Let's make sure our approach path is clear. It is on the left. It is on the right. And here we go. I don't remember if there's a toga on this or what. See, look, there it just did it again. Zero fuel weight center of gravity out of range, takeoff center of gravity out of range. Some fields in weight initialization page were not updated. And it's from hitting those bumps, I think. Because it's not out of range. It's within range. It says it right on the manager or whatever that it's within range. So let's get her lined up on the runway here. I'm going to have to reset my V speeds. I think it's those bumps I'm going over. So that's obviously something they did with the scenery. See, what is it bumping over there? What is that? Like, that's ridiculous.
On runway.
That's absolutely ridiculous right there. I don't know what's going on, but it just keeps giving me that warning now. See, it just won't even go away at this point. And what is it bumping over out there? Track IR coming off. Is that just the scenery? Look at that. You guys see that, right? It was like, it's ridiculous. If that's the scenery, that's ridiculous. Okay, close that out since it doesn't want to go away. We got to go back in here and reset our V speeds. See, check and confirm V speeds. Oh, now it doesn't want to let me do that. What the heck is going on? That's just ridiculous. It's going to start doing that as soon as we go down the runway, isn't it? So, rotate speed is what? 139. We're going to have to watch for that on our own, because I have a feeling it's going to do this as soon as we start going down the runway. There's a cough for you. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I really honestly don't know. I have a feeling we're going to have an issue as soon as we start off here, but we're going to give it a go anyway, because it's time to go. Track IR, big jump. Here we go. Let's bring the throttles in. Yep, there we go. As soon as we started going. Okay, let's just move that to another screen now. Come on. I mean, is it just me or is that ridiculous? Okay, let's get this thing off the ground. Wow, it's gonna start freezing up on me too. Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's our rotate speed. Get her up in the air. Wow.
positive right.
Gear coming up, maybe.
Gear up.
Oh, we're gonna end up crashing, man. Good Lord. You know what? I've decided I hate this scenery now because we had this problem when we flew in, didn't we? Remember when we flew into this airport doing that tutorial, we had a problem too, and I don't know why it wants me to go to the left. Woo, she's climbing fast. Bring that trim down just a little bit. We don't need to be 30 degrees nose up. I mean, this sucker will climb, but wow. I mean, it is light. Alright. Let's get the autopilot on right away because I'm obviously having major issues here. I don't know why it's going left instead of flying the flight plan now. Wow. Is it trying to fly the heading? There we go. Guess I had to hit the nav button. Put it on FMS speed. Boy, it's right at the base. Look at that, it's right at the bottom there too as far as maneuvering speed goes. This is a tricky little airplane. Okay, we can retract flaps now. Let's bring the flaps up.
Flaps up. Flaps retract.
Track IR coming off. Well, I think it's very clear. I'm no master of the MD-11, am I? Goodness gracious. Whoa. Yeah, it got low speed, right? Because the flaps can't. I guess we weren't ready for flaps to come up. We were past the flap retraction speed, right? That's a safety mechanism built into it. Goodness gracious. What was all that crazy bumping on the ground that was causing it was saying the center of gravity and stuff was off, but it wasn't. It was in accordance with their manager, their flight manager. You know what? I think that that Memphis scenery, I think it's got some issues, guys. I really do. And I hate to say it because it looks beautiful, but it's clearly got some issues. Coming up on 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and turn the runway turn-off lights off. There's 10,000 right there. Right-click them. All the way off. Nope. No. Off. There we go. Okay. Those are off now. All right. Let's take care of our after takeoff checklist. I really hate that we had to throw autopilot on so quick. I actually like to hand fly it a little bit more now, but yeah, that was a little crazy. We want FMS speed though. Okay, there we go. So let's let the auto throttle take control here. I'm just trying to think. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. All right, let's take care of the after takeoff checklist here. Gear up and lights off. The gear is up, the lights are off. Air panel stays on auto. Spoiler handle needs to be disarmed, so we'll disarm the spoilers. That's shift tab for me. I think it's shift and the slash key is the default. Auto brake can go off if it's not already. Let's find out. It is not. Let's give that one right click there. Flaps and slats up and retracted. They are. Hydraulic panel stays on auto. Fuel panel stays on auto. Seat belts as required. We'll leave those on. Exterior lights as required, and then altimeter set and cross-checked. And there's really, once we cross above 18,000, it goes to standard. But we were at 299.2 as we took off anyway, which is standard. So that takes care of everything. That was a little crazy, though, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. I'm no master of any aircraft at this point. Let's be honest about that. I'm sure some of you are already. Got your fingers warmed up to beat me up in the comments. Nothing I can do about that. Just try and be gentle, will ya? And that's going to leave us with nothing but our obligatory, only when we're in FSX right now, elevator music. Alright, it's going to be the Eagle 6 arrival for us today, and we're going to be entering onto the arrival, or transitioning onto the arrival at Zuni. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. Our ATIS is going to be on 127.575. Phoenix Airport elevation is 1,135 feet. That probably surprises some of you, but it surely is. Let's see, altitude is set in inches, transition level, flight level 18, or 180. I know, we don't say 18. Radar is required, RNAV 1, DME, blah, blah, blah. We're good on all that. Real quick though, over here, you're supposed to file the Gallup or the Zuni transitions only. If you want the Winslow transition, that is to be assigned by ATC for hazardous weather avoidance only. And on it goes with some other information. It's not really going to be that big of a deal in this case because we're flying a simulator. We are going to enter over here at the Zuni transition. This guy right here. We're going to go from there to Dojo, and then down to Slider and on to Tinnis. And there's a lot going on here, so it's kind of hard to see. It does say flight level 200, and here at Tinnis it says we need to be at or below 330. So 20,000 feet is our minimum, right? But here it says we need to be at or below 33, or flight level 330. Then down to Peso, which is actually Payson. And then here it says between flight level 300 and flight level 240. Turning a little bit to the left there to 215 degrees down to Eagle. At or above flight level 180 at Eagle. From Eagle down here to Homer. From Homer, and on Homer it says at or below 17,000 feet. And then for us, we're actually turning to the left here, 204 degrees down to Venom. At or above 9,400 feet. Down here to SD, I guess is how you say that. You need to be at 210 knots, between 10,000 and 8,100 feet. Down to Basel, at or below 6,000 feet. And then over here to Derval, and I don't even know if we're hitting Derval, but at 210 knots, between 5,500 and 4,500 feet. And then from there, now we're definitely not going any further to Derval. I don't remember if we're even using Derval, but from there, we're going to transition onto the approach because we're going to be approaching over here on runway 25 left. So real quick, if we look over here in our little lost comms deal here for runway 25 left, it says add Gypsy, intercept and execute runway 25 left ILS approach. Pretty straightforward. Again, this is just for lost comms. As far as routing is concerned, down here on 25 left, it says from Homer, on track 204 to Venom, then on track 204 to SD, then on track 203 to Basel. Then on track 203 to Derval, then on track 219 to Gypsy, expect ILS or localizer runway 25 left approach for radar vectors to final approach course. Pretty straightforward. That is our arrival briefing, so let's move on over and I'm going to take care of the approach briefing, which you'll be seeing here shortly, and we'll see how we transition off of this arrival onto the approach. Alright, we're coming up on our top of descent here, about 30 miles out or so. You can see it just past the Slider waypoint there. That's our top of descent. And we are pretty much ready to start taking care of our descent slash approach. Well, it says descent and approach, but yeah, descent and approach checklist, I guess they kind of go together. Some of the stuff we'll do now, some of the stuff won't be done until we're actually on the approach itself or below 18,000 feet. But a little bit of work needs to be done here. We need to go ahead and scroll this bad boy down. If you've seen the tutorial, or you recall from the tutorial, or if you just know the MD-11, you'll know that it will not start descending automatically. You have to actually right-click, and I noticed I went back and took a look at my tutorial because I was pretty sure I messed it up. You have to right-click on this knob to get it to start to descend. So we're going to put it all the way down to 4,000. There are a couple altitude restrictions along the way. You may have, I don't know if I covered them in the arrival briefing or not, because I haven't actually recorded the video for the arrival briefing yet, but nonetheless, there are a couple of altitude restrictions along the way, but they are programmed into the FMC, and I'm going to allow that flight management computer to deal with those rather than dealing with it myself, so that I don't mess anything up, because we all know I make plenty of mistakes. Let's see here, descent and approach, as far as our checklist goes, landing dead. Now, what I'm looking at here is the Pmdg checklist, and what I'm actually showing on the screen here, this comes from the normal procedures. So they're a little bit different. It's all the same stuff, but some of the stuff is just assumed that you do it when you're using the checklist that I'm actually reading off of right now. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. So landing data needs to be taken care of. That's down here in the FMC. I've already done that. I've gone ahead and I've selected a full flaps landing. We'll be approaching at 146 knots and landing at approximately 141 knots. Now I know it's not necessary, I could land at flaps 35, but I've decided I want to go with a full flaps landing, so that's what we're going to do. What's next? Windshield anti-ice, we don't need that. Decision height's been taken care of, seatbelts are on. Altimeters won't be set until we cross below 18,000 feet. So we don't need to mess with those yet, but in case you're wondering, the altimeter is 2985, wind is 260 at 5 knots, so we will be landing on runway 27 left, which will be convenient because the cargo ramp is just off the side of that. It's also the shorter runway, which is just another reason to be landing on, or another reason to be landing with full flaps. Exterior lights as required, we don't do anything with those, again, until we get lower. So that actually takes care of the checklist, as far as the actual checklist for descent and approach. And again, a couple of those things we got to take care of once we get going here. So really, we're just kind of waiting for top of descent to show up here. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just let her keep flying here, and I'll use this space to take care of the approach brief, so that we've got that knocked out of the way, and I'll start the descent and all that good stuff as we move along here. So let's go ahead and have that approach briefing, please. It's kind of funny that I say that, because I'm actually asking myself to give the approach briefing. Think about that for a minute, very deep. Alright, as previously mentioned, it is the ILS-25 left approach into Phoenix today, which is our short runway, so that should make this interesting. Our ASUS is going to be on 127.57. Phoenix approach is on 128.65. Tower for us is going to be 120.9er, and the ground, we're going to be on the south side, so 132.55. You might be wondering why we got all these extra frequencies. Phoenix is not a big airport, right? It's actually the 8th busiest airport in the United States. Madness, I'm telling you. Anyway, localizer is on 110.75. Final approach course 258 degrees. Glide slope starts at Skade, 3,000 feet. And the ILS decision altitude is 1,326 feet or 200 feet above the ground. Airport elevation, we already said that, 1,135. Did we already say that? 1,135 feet. Oh, maybe we talked about that during the arrival briefing. Anyway, 1,135 feet. Touchdown zone is 1,126 feet. Taking a look at our approach here now from our top-down view. You got some, you got Fixar, Zerlo, Bud Me, Hammock. We're not actually touching any of those. We're going to bypass all of those. We're going to go straight here to Gypsy. And then from Gypsy to Skade, and then Conte from there. Pretty straightforward, actually, if you look at our profile view. Out here at Hammock, again, we're going to bypass that for Gypsy at 4,000 feet, descent from there down to Skade, 3,000 feet. And then from there we should, if we haven't already done so, intercept the glide slope and on in to Conte, and then our missed approach point, or landing at 258 degrees. Coming down here, we're not worried about the speed information here. This is it's simply not going to be applicable because we're going to be using the ILS, and then we'll have visual from there. My brain just went blank for a second. We should have PAPI lights on the left-hand side of the runway. And then as far as our missed approach goes, let's jump back up here and we'll just read it instead of trying to decipher this for now. For a missed approach, climb to 3,000 feet, then a climbing left turn to 5,000 feet on heading 130, and outbound on the Phoenix VOR radial of 163 degrees to Hopke, which is at 15 nautical miles from the Phoenix VOR. That's what PXR is, by the way. And hold, or as directed by ATC. And you can see on here, so basically you're climbing out here, okay, until we hit 3,000 feet, and then we're banging a left around here 130 degrees until, and then we're going to follow that out until we get to the 163 degree radial from the Phoenix VOR, and then hold out here at Popke, and Popke is 15 nautical miles from the Phoenix VOR. And then of course that's how that outlines down here. So climb straight ahead 3,000 feet. Once you hit 3,000 feet, climbing left turn to 5,000 feet on heading until you reach heading until you get to 130 degrees. Follow that around until you get to the 163 degree radial from the Phoenix VOR, which is on 115.6. It's too early. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for our approach briefing. Off we go. Alright guys, we're out here on the eastern side of Phoenix, about 10 miles from Gypsy. It looks like we're going to hit our altitude of 4,000 feet a little early. I think the aircraft descended way too fast as it was, but it is what it is. So we're about at 4,000 feet here. Should start to level off in just a minute. You can see that puts us at 1,000 feet out here, so it really shouldn't have been at 4,000 feet quite yet. It was supposed to be at 4,000 feet at Gypsy, but it is what it is. So let's start looking at our before landing checklist. Gear and lights. Gear's not down yet. We're going to do that here momentarily. Spoilers are armed. Auto brake is set. Flaps are not set all the way yet. Altimeters are set and cross-checked. So let's start setting up for the actual approach. Let's put this back to FMC speed. And let's go ahead and hit the approach land switch here. And that shows us that landing is armed. You can see the little diamond there, and the little diamond there shows us that it is picking up the ILS now. It's just not locked onto it yet. Alright. And you do have to set that up. I think I've shown that before, but basically you just go into your nav radio, you type in your ILS frequency, and you type in your, let's get that gear down. Type in your ILS frequency, and you type in landing gear's coming down. Hold on, my brain doesn't want to work. Okay, now this thing's really bad about getting the speed up in time. I remember that. It's really bad about it. Anyway, you put in your ILS frequency and your final approach course into the nav radio, and that's how you set up the nav radios as far as that goes. Let me just show you here real quick. You click on nav radio, you type in 110.75/258, click on this line select key, and it puts it in there and you're good to go. So simple as that. And you can see we're turning towards Gypsy here now, and we'll be on short final here in no time. So we'll let her fly, even though it shouldn't have been at 4,000 feet already. It is, so we'll just kind of let her fly along here. And once we hit Gypsy there, it should pretty much lock onto the glide slope and the localizer about the time we hit Gypsy. We're going to find out here though in a minute though, aren't we? You can see the glide slope diamond is starting to move there, and we should see the localizer diamond starting to move as well. You can see that we are right on the cusp of our maneuvering speed here, 146. So again, it got there earlier than I wanted it to. You know, that's inexperience on my part with the aircraft. That's what that really is. It's inexperience on my part. You know, so not knowing the flap schedule quite as well, not being used to controlling the aircraft. You know, when you're used to flying an aircraft a lot, it's a lot easier to know when to put in flaps and all that stuff. I don't know, you're just not fighting with it as much, so you don't feel like you have to be quite as far ahead of the aircraft because you kind of already are in your brain. Does that make sense to everybody, or am I just talking through my backside there? The idea here is you want to be ahead of the aircraft, right? So we're way ahead of the aircraft right now, but because I'm not as comfortable flying the MD-11, which really kind of sucks because I actually really like flying this airplane, and I just need to spend more time doing it. And it just completely froze there, didn't it? Like, it's frozen right now. There it goes. Just so you know, I left all the traffic on, so I've got my AI traffic turned up at like 100% right now. So we'll see how that goes. There's the glide slope diamond. There's the localizer diamond. Both of them moving now. So hopefully it'll lock onto both of those here shortly, and we'll be on to our short final there. Just waiting for that to lock in, and then we'll go over this checklist one more time. Should start descending right now. There it goes. Oh, I thought it was going to bypass. It was making me nervous there for a second. Okay, one more time before landing checklist. Gear and lights. Gear is down. Lights are all green. Spoilers are armed. Let's double check that. That's popped straight up. So if they were disarmed, they'd be down there. That's armed. That's where we want them. Auto brake is set to medium. That's hidden back there. Flaps are set now. Altimeters are set and cross-checked. Track IR coming on. Big jump here. There we go. And we are all set. Now, I'm going to let the aircraft fly itself here for a minute. Boy, you can... Like, that view just got really weird there, didn't it? Like, I should be back here more. That's why, because I need to move my chair back a little bit. Whoop. There we go. That's a little better. I couldn't really see under the panel there. Anyway, I'm going to let the aircraft fly on autopilot here for just another minute or so because, again, not quite as comfortable flying this aircraft. I don't want to let it do it too long, though. I want to fly it. I just don't want to mess it up really bad. What do we at on our N1? About 70% on the N1. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and take the autopilot off.
Autopilot.
Well, she always nosedives when you do that. You ever notice that? Why is it nosediving?
Autopilot.
Okay.
Autopilot.
There we go. You got to hit that button there. Okay, let's get these throttles under control here. Woo. 3 throttles is a little weird, isn't it? Okay. She's a bit of a gangly aircraft to fly, to be honest with you. At least to me it is. And we move to the side just a little bit here. Alright. Not too bad. Not too bad. Got just a little high. That's alright. We're coming back down. And the callouts, I don't know if you can hear them. But if you can hear them, the voice is really kind of funny. It's very robotic.
1,000.
Yeah, we're too high. I don't know why I keep trying to climb. Alright, let's try not to mess up my landing average too much here, huh? This is a tough airplane to land because it's got that small tail fin on it. Boy, it's getting choppy too. That's not going to help any. I wonder if that's because the aircraft I have loaded in or the scenery or what. I mean, it's FSX. I'm really starting to like P3D version 4 a lot because, wow, that speed just got really high, didn't it? I'm starting to like it a lot because it's 64-bit, so it just runs smoother. We're way too high. Way too fast. I got busy talking and wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna shut up.
Approaching minimum. Minimum.
Glide slow.
Yeah, I know.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Reverse thrust available.
Well, I don't know what my landing rate was on that, but we're going to find out in a minute, aren't we? Woo! Alright. Let's go ahead and get ready to start cleaning her up here. Let's go ahead and get the flaps up. I don't know why it said no spoiler. I could have sworn I heard him say no spoilers. Did you guys hear that too?
Spoilers deployed.
Now they're deployed? That's kind of stupid. Why didn't the spoilers deploy? I had them armed. You guys saw that. Alright, let's get these landing lights taken care of. Come on. Come on. Really? Okay. Kind of all over the place here. Sorry. We get her back in the middle where it belongs. Let's start the APU if I can find it from this angle. Is that right? Ah, stupid track iron. Track iron coming off. Come on. There we go. Yeah, APU's coming on. All right. Let's get track iron back on. Goodness. What a pain in the butt. Alright, we got the flaps up. APU's coming on now. We got the lights taken care of. As we roll in here, let's see if I can glance at my after landing checklist. Make sure we didn't miss anything. After landing spoilers, which never deployed for some unknown reason. Those are good. Flaps and slats are taken care of. Transponder's not off yet. We'll do that as we pull in. Weather radar was never on. Auto brake. It should have automatically turned off, right? Nope, probably not. That's probably why we're having such a hard time taxiing around, huh? And missing all our turns. That's just a turnaround, I think. Yeah, goodness. I'm just a nightmare here. Stab trim, we're not doing anything with that right now. Exterior lights taken care of. Anti-ice is good, and APU has been started. Alright. Let's get around the corner here. Where are we going to park this thing? Let's park it over next to that one. I guess we're going to just kind of skip lines here. You know, the truth is, because I work here at Phoenix, right? So I stand over there all the time and watch airplanes taxiing around and stuff. These guys go all over the place, man. They don't really care where the lines are. I mean, they don't care. They just go wherever they want. Makes no difference. Good times. Alright, yeah, let's go over there and park next to that guy, and then once I get parked, I'll hop back on here, and we'll take care of shutting down the aircraft. Alright, we got our parked here. Let's go ahead and take care of our parking checklist. Anti-ice needs to be off. Hydraulic panel stays on auto. Fuel switches can all go off. That's these three down here. Actually, before we do that, let's make sure we're on APU power, right? Okay, let's try that again. Why is it not running? I started it. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? Goodness gracious. Now it's got to start all the way back up again. It isn't one thing, it's another. It's always something. Anyway, while that's starting up, we'll do fuel switches in a minute. Seatbelts can go off. So let's turn the seatbelt signs off. Stupid thing popping up there. There we go. Seatbelt signs are off. Fuel panel, that'll stay on auto. And then emergency power. Complete brain fart on that. I don't know where emergency power is. I know where the emergency lights are. I don't remember where the emergency power is. That's awesome. There it is. Emergency power. Duh. That needs to go off. Exterior lights need to go off. Taxi lights should come off as we pulled in, right? There it is. All the way off. Logo lights already off. Beacon off. Beacon should stay on right now because we got the engines running, right? We're still waiting for that APU to start up. That's killing me. Any day the APU wants to start running. Parking brake is set. There are no chocks. IRS as required. We'll just leave those as they are. Okay, there's the APU. Now it's up and running. So let's go ahead and shut down the engines. You have to right click these to shut them off. There we go. Now emergency power can go off. Now I have to find it again. There we go. Emergency power off. Fantastic. IRS is good to go. We'll leave that as is. And then, so APU's running right now. Let's go ahead and switch it to external power. Oh, come on. It's like, believe it or not, it's behind the panel when I do that. I don't understand why. But anyway, FS action shortcuts. Ground connections right in front of my face. Connect external power. Connect external air. Because I set those up to do manually, right? So then we hop back up top. We can... And that's the galley power, and then that's the external power. And so now we can turn the APU off. Is it this one? Start, stop. I don't know. There we go. Off. Okay, so now we're on external power. And as far as leaving the aircraft, it says emergency lights off, evac, APU if not required goes off, and then battery off. We're going to leave it actually in the powered state that we found it in. So this is basically how we found the aircraft. This is how we're going to leave the aircraft. Other than we're going to open those cargo doors so that they can unload cargo, right? Let's open those cargo doors for them. Forward, aft, center, and upper. Cargo doors are open, and that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. This was a fun little flight. I enjoyed this one. I fumbled around quite a bit. I haven't flown the MD-11 in quite a while. So, you know, it was a bit of a mess, and I do apologize for that. I know some of you are going to beat me up in the comments, and some people give a thumbs down. You know, I want to talk about that thumbs down real quick. You want to put a thumbs down, put a thumbs down. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but at least give me the reason why. You know, if you have an issue with the video or something like that, tell me what the problem is. If it's just because you think I stink, well, then fine. Just go somewhere else. Watch videos from somebody else. Makes no difference to me. But, you know, if you have something constructive to say, by all means, please put it down in the comments. Those of you who've been following my channel for quite a while, you know that I actually pay attention to those comments. And I listen to what you guys say. And I try to, you know, I take the advice that I get from people and so on. So, you know, say something constructive down there. Don't just give it a thumbs down, because it's just stupid to me. But whatever. I know a lot of those are probably trolls, too. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had a good time doing it. I want to do some more flights in the MD-11. I want to get more comfortable with it. And, of course, the only way to do that is to fly it more. So we're definitely going to do some more in these. I appreciate the flight request. It was a lot of fun. Look for some more of these to come along in the near future. If you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button. We're well over 5,000 subscribers now, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. The more thumbs up it gets, the easier it is to find in the search queue. And, of course, you can follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and, of course, you can follow us on Twitch at CaptainMac3588. And it's getting really loud out here because there's obviously another airplane taxiing around somewhere. All right, guys, that's enough. I'm done talking. As always, keep the blue side up, unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all, and have a fantastic day.